In today's Ethereum analysis video, we will have a look at the current structure and whether or not Ethereum has a big opportunity at the moment where we could rise to basically new all-time highs. We will use Elliott waves to look at why this might happen, as always, as well as some more of this very complicated looking data, but don't worry, I will explain all of this, and we will also be looking at a liquidation heat map. But first of all, let us start with the structure, and make sure you watch all of this video, because towards the end I will explain all of the exact price levels we are going to be watching to see where prices might turn around, where prices might bounce, and also where we are probably going to buy a new position. So make sure you stick around and watch the entire video, because I will be saying all of those details throughout the video. Now, what is going to happen in the near future? What do we think? Again, this scenario hasn't changed from the last video at all. Actually, funny enough, I have not changed anything on this chart from last video. Nothing, like literally nothing. I looked at it, of course, but I didn't change anything on this chart. Still valid as exactly as in the last video. On the 6th of December, or around this time, we think a wave 3 has topped. Since then, we've seen an A wave to the downside. I will draw this. A wave to the downside, a B wave to the upside, a C wave to the downside. And now we think that we have probably bottomed in this larger wave 4 and are now in a 5-wave move to the upside, which could, and I mean, it's sort of sad to say this, but Ethereum doesn't really seem to have the strength to push to crazy new all-time highs this cycle. So yeah, it could be that we end around like 5-6K for this cycle, which in comparison to Bitcoin or some other coins is a truly disappointing well, yeah, it just isn't good. Now, what are we seeing here? We've seen that a wave 1 has probably been finished and a wave 2 is now going to the downside. What is going to happen in the immediate future? Well, let us look at this data, and I will draw, as always, my lines for visualization's sake from the local low to the current price. Prices have basically remained stable since then. Nothing significant has happened. Now, looking at open interest, they've also basically stayed the exact same since from that local low to now. The third one is spot volume. By the way, it's just explaining open interest really quick for some people who may not know. It's just the cumulated amount of longs and shorts in the market. So all of them put together. So all we can deduce from this is how many people are currently leveraged in the market. We can't say if there is more longs or shorts. We can deduce that from the funding. We'll get to that in a second. Also, spot volume, we can see, well, nothing is happening in this. It is completely dead at the moment. This is also just spot volume. But now, and I will make this a bit bigger so you can see it more easily, the funding is truly where it gets interesting usually on these charts. So let us draw. I can't even go as deep as that. Funding has been doing some acrobatics in the meantime, but mostly what has happened is we have seen a slight increase, meaning open interest staying the same, funding slightly increasing, more longs are coming into the market compared to shorts. This is not necessarily what we want, and why we might not want that, we'll look at the heat map. And here you can see basically all of these big clusters is liquidity. And liquidity just means that if prices were to go here, short positions would get liquidated. If prices were to go here, long positions would get liquidated, because, well, that's where the stop loss is set, or it's basically just where there's no more margin left in their position for them to be kept open, so they will be forced liquidated. Why is this relevant? Because market makers want to push prices to these levels because they have an advantage if they liquidate a lot of people. If you want to learn about this, feel free to check out our website. It's the first link in the description. We've just launched 2 new very exciting products, and they basically both include the information that you need to further interpret it and, well, just improve your trading. We also offer a one-on-one course where we'll teach anything, even if you're just at the beginning of your trading journey. Now, looking at the liquidation heat map, what we can see is basically, well, I mean, not a lot. There's some liquidity here, there's some liquidity here. More notable though, liquidity here, liquidity here, liquidity here. So liquidity to the upside is definitely more prominent than the one to the downside. Looking at this on a bigger time frame, I'm on the CoinAnk heat map here for Ethereum, and if this is going to load, well, maybe it's not going to load. There you go. Yeah, you can see, well, there's a lot of liquidity down here, but that is at a very low point. I think it's unreasonable. Of course, it can still happen, but I think it's unreasonable that prices will go here. It's not our primary scenario. biggest liquidation block to the downside, which was here, we have already liquidated, but the most liquidity is to the upside that we are looking out for. Now, let us get to what we expect to happen in the coming days, weeks, whatever. This yellow wave 2 right here might already be completed. There has probably been a wave A, a wave B, and a wave C to the downside in this wave 2. And also looking at the Fibonacci retracement, we've basically perfectly hit the bottom of the support zone. And this is basically exactly where we think that the wave 2 should go. Now, of course, this count is not that reliable. And of course, it's not financial advice. It's just our opinion. But it's looking quite well right now. And I do have some hope in this setup that it's going to work. Now, looking at where a possible wave 3, which might come now, would happen. And of course, we're looking here for this support box has already been basically stretched to the most extreme. We can't go lower in the support box. If we go lower and break this low, then we're not in the scenario. We're in a different scenario. We're probably still in the wave C. And we're going to wait, if that happens, for this wave C to be finished and to actually then turn into this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern. But for now, we still assume we're in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern. Maybe if you're watching this video, you are basically in the future of, in my terms speaking right now, maybe you can already say what's happening. Write that in the comments if you want to, and then maybe I can give you a quick update in the comments if anything bigger has happened where you might need assistance. Now, this wave 3 might go, it can go anywhere in this white box. Most likely will go somewhere where I basically put it between 4.6 and 4K. And then we will, of course, see a wave 4 retracement and then a wave 5 extension. And that will probably be the last extension for this bull market. As sad as that sounds, Ethereum does not have a lot of room left to grow. So what are we doing? Well, basically, we will be accumulating long positions just in this area. Maybe prices will dip even further, but we are accumulating here. Our stop losses will be set just below this box. Below this low is actually where they are going to be set. So $2,900. And yeah, what are we watching for? Prices to hold the support box and then reverse, preferably impulsive to the upside in this wave 3. And then we'll see a 4 and a 5. If the support box doesn't hold, we will go lower, and then we'll probably have to have a discussion whether Ethereum is actually going to make another high in this bull market, because the strength of Ethereum right now is basically horrible. Yeah, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to check out our website, first link in the description. I would much appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.